All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another quick video. All right, y'all, so we were discussing this a little bit in the live stream last night, and I just wanted to kind of give my full thoughts on this situation that's going on right now with PFL and Bellator now that the merge has happened. I was looking at the article with Don Davis, and I read through that with y'all last night, and, I kind of gave my my outlook on my perspective on both situations with the two particular fights that could be of interest to Cris Cyborg, that happens first in 2024. And I have to say, the more I read through it, just kind of look at where both of these fighters stand as champions. I agree with Don Davis, man, that the champ versus champ fight makes most sense right now, because Cris Cyborg, let's be real, she's in a position where she doesn't really need Kayla Harrison. She doesn't really need the PFL at this point. That's why she's kind of venturing off doing her own thing in boxing, and with a fighter that has an extensive career like hers, the ball is more so in her court. It's not like she's dropping the ball by saying, oh, well, I want to go off and do boxing or something like that, and then maybe fight Larissa Pacheco instead of Kayla Harrison, right? Because when you think about it, taking on somebody like Larissa Pacheco at this point in her career makes more sense because, like I said, somebody that's in her position right now, age-wise as well, they're looking for the big money fight so they can rise to the occasion too. Boxing brings in some nice checks. There's something that could be on the horizon for her there, like a Katie Taylor, but when you look at the PFL, there's no need to be taking on, the smaller fights anymore. Now, Kayla Harris is definitely not a smaller fight, which I want to talk about here in a minute, but the reason Don Davis and even like Larissa Pacheco or Cris Cyborg, they continue to bring up this fight is because it makes sense. Champ versus champ. It's a financial game, but more so it's a legacy gain as well. I don't think she's in a position right now to really have to go for big fights anymore. She's already got the money and, she's already got her brand now. But as far as like legacy, who wouldn't want to be a 5-belt organization champ? Even myself from the outside looking in, I'm kind of like, yo, that's the fight she need to go for because I like to see somebody pick up 5 belts just to see if they could do it, And I think where Cris Cyborg stands right now, Larissa Pacheco fight makes more sense. The Kayla Harrison fight, it was a little bit more tantalizing whenever she was looking like the one. You know what I mean? Like when she was the undefeated fighter, she had that aura, right? That was the only thing that was really making it interesting because when you think about skill-wise, let's be real, Kayla Harrison, even after looking at the Aspen Ladd fight, it's just more proof that Kayla's not really bringing anything to the table she wasn't really bringing anything to the table besides that size, strength, that ego, and undefeated record, right? No disrespect, but that's what it was, right? It wasn't like Kayla Harrison and went over to the UFC, beat a bunch of fighters, like Amanda Nunes, and built up this legacy, this legend killer type of resume or anything like that, right? She was just bringing that off. She was just bringing the bragging rights and the size and the possibility of, her youth being able to overpower Cris Cyborg, and again the undefeated record, right? When you just see that, in a fighter like Kayla Harrison, she's just so braggadocious. That's what's making her look interesting. But then when she loses to Larissa Pacheco, even though she is 1-2 with her and she doesn't have a belt, the stock is kind of low in it, right? So, like I said yesterday, it would be interesting if, as a first fight to build up the champ versus champ, if they wanted to make the Kayla Harrison fight first, right? Just to kind of get her out the way and then do the Larissa Pacheco fight. But for somebody like Cris Cyborg, who's beyond accomplished as a champion, she doesn't really need to take on like a build-up fight first. She should go straight into a championship fight, right? That's only for like newcomers when they move up in a new weight class, right? Like if you move up from 125 to 135, or you come into a new organization, you're a brand new fighter there from Bellator to UFC, just to kind of build up your name and build up the potential of a champ fight. Then you kind of take on one fight before the champ fight. But for Cris Cyborg, she's already a name. She's already named, and Bellator, PFL, they kind of need more of a name like Cris Cyborg, right? So the minute she comes over, she's already a shoe-in for a championship fight, in my opinion. So, yeah, I can see why champ versus champ makes more sense right now than the Kayla Harrison fight. Now, if she wanted to take the fight on after, I mean, from there, that's just like a retirement fight. But, again, if she goes there and if she kind of goes in there and destroys or just dominates a Larissa Pacheco, that would even kind of knock the stock down even a little more, for the Kayla Harrison fight. So it's all on Cris Cyborg at this point, I think. Like, even though she said on Twitter that they haven't been hitting her up, the ball's still kind of in her court because, hey, she could make money off of boxing. She's got a fight coming up in January in boxing. So do that, and then she could call out Amanda Serrano or Katie Taylor. And, with Jake Paul Promotions and everything that's backing Amanda Serrano, she could wind up making more money with boxing than she can in PFL and call it a day, So if they're not hitting her up, then, she could go do something else. But if they do, and they want to do the Pacheco fight first, fine, and she could cap her career off with that belt because there's really no other fights for her there. Like, if she wants to do the Kayla Harrison fight after beating Pacheco, if she beats Pacheco, then fine. That's just like a money thing. But again, like I said, if she beats Pacheco, who beat Kayla Harrison, there's really no build up into that fight. I think doing the Kayla Harrison fight first financially would make more sense if Cris Cyborg plans to fight more than once at PFL. But again, with where Cris Cyborg stands, just because they merged with PFL doesn't mean she needs to fight another 5 or 6 fights in there anyways. Like, she just needs to fight out her contract and do the fights that make more sense for her career, because again, she's kind of in that like Floyd Mayweather part of her career, twilight of her career, where it's like, I'm only taking the fights that make sense financially and, the fights that can make my legacy look good, So she could just go over to Pacheco. She could go over to PFL and just fight Pacheco, and that'd be it, right off into the sunset with the fifth belt in a 5th organization, and that'd be it, right? Because again, if she beats Pacheco, Kayla Harrison fight won't even look that interesting anymore. Not that it really ever has, besides just the backstory to it, So, yeah, I agree with Don Davis on this one, man. Like, champ versus champ makes more sense. And, I think Pacheco, she's ready for it at this point. But as far as like a breakdown of it, I'll talk about that in another video, guys. But let me know what y'all think, man. Champ versus champ. That's how I see it right now. Unless they just want to do like a big drama show, like Golovkin used to say, right? Big drama show. Hey, then they might do the Harrison fight. But I think Cris Cyborg wants champ versus champ. Don Davis wants champ versus champ. I think the MMA fans, they want champ versus champ. But what do y'all think, guys? Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.